Hyundai, usually known for extended warranties and good finance packages, are now ditching the drab and going with this, the new N-Performance range. Meet the new yob kid on the block, the I30N-Performance. This is Hyundai's first attempt at a hot hatch, and it clearly wants to make a name for itself. Manufactured in Korea, but honed on the Nürburgring, hence the N. It seems like Hyundai are bringing their WRC and touring car obsession to road cars, bringing in Albert Berman, who headed up BMW's M division, to design it. It certainly seems like the Koreans are out for some German blood. It really does look like a hot hatch as well. I've even gone with some red piping like a certain German brand does. Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles on it. Hyundai say that this car is precisely tuned to excel on UK roads, so we're going to put that to the test.
So let's start with some numbers. The car's just under 30 grand. We've got 275 brake horsepower. We've got 353 newton meters of torque produced from a 2-litre turbocharged engine. And it's got all the mod cons that you could want from a hot hatch. It's got an active exhaust system, it's got adaptive suspension, and it's got electronic limited slip differential. And with the people that have designed this car, you'd be expecting something that's going to be pretty special. So let's see what it's like. So I'm laughing there because if you've not already noticed, it's a pretty garish looking car, and it really does shout a little bit. That's not a bad thing necessarily, especially to the people that are going to buy it. When you're driving it through a little housing estate in West Yorkshire, it can be a bit much. People tut. So once you've finished beating up the local old lady and you've been to the McDonald's drive-through, you can then take this thing out and do a bit of driving. I've got this currently in the N custom mode. So what that means is basically you can go onto your infotainment system and change pretty much everything. The degree of which you can change the settings on this car are remarkable. What we've found is, I mean, Eco, we've not even tried it. Normal, for everyday use, you don't really have a choice. It's got to be in that setting. If you go any further than that, it starts to become uncomfortable. Unless you've got your helmet on and you're on a track and you know you've got perfect track conditions, you're not going to want to drive the car in that mode for a long period of time. It's great fun in normal as well, so don't think like you're missing out on anything. So what we've got fitted here is a 6-speed manual gearbox with a nice short shift. It's exquisitely put together. It wants you to drive it fast. It's incredibly quick and slick to change gear. And it's really nice to see in a car, especially Hyundai's first effort at a performance hatchback, for them to just throw a 6-speed manual. You can't upgrade at the minute, it's just a 6-speed manual, which I love that. So let's talk about its speed. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. 275 brake horsepower. Once you've got going, it can put it down, especially when you're up here on these country roads. You can really feel when this car coming together now on these roads. It's got, the chassis is just, it's like corners like it's on rails. It feels glued to the road, especially with the Pirelli P0 tyres that were developed, with Hyundai for this car. Now, one of the things that I read about when I knew we were going to be taking this car out was how loud and intrusive the active exhaust system can be when you put it into N-Performance. Now, I've not found that so far. Now, let's just go into standard N. Oh, ow, ah, oh. I mean, the ride is as firm can be. It's no fun. It's no fun. It's gonna give me a bloody hernia. It's so quick. Wow. One of the features that I really like about this car is automatic rev matching. It makes gear changing seamless and much faster, and it's just a bit more professional. It's loads of fun. And it's nice when you're changing at lower speeds, and it gives you that little pump on the revs, and it just makes it sound a bit more like a race car, which, you know, for children like me or yobs, it's kind of what you want. We've also got a very, very clever electronic carving differential, as Hyundai dub it, which is basically Hyundai's way of saying that they've put an electronic limited slip differential in it. I think Hyundai should be very proud of themselves. I think it's great to see a brand like Hyundai dropping a load of money into R&D and starting a performance arm of their business. For them to have just gone, there's a 275 brake horsepower monster with a stiffened chassis. They've pulled in the BMW M Sport geezer. They've thrown a beautiful 2-litre turbocharged engine with this fabulous gearbox. It's refreshing. It's interesting that Hyundai have decided as a business to launch a vehicle like this in today's market, where the hot hatch market is saturated, to say the least. There's so many hot hatchbacks, and I think they've basically wanted to say, well, we can do it, and we can do it as well as everybody else. And I think they've achieved that. And this kind of drags me back to cars like the Mark V R32 and cars that are a bit wacky and a bit wild and a bit loose, and you don't always know what you're going to get with it when you throw it into a corner. It's not predictable, it's not boring. Oh, gosh. Oh. Yeah, don't buy it if you've got a bad back, or you've got, or if you do, make sure you've got a good chiropractor, because you're going to need one. So, like a lot of cars nowadays, in order to give the driver a more dramatic experience, they've fitted an ESG, which is an electronic sound generator, which is basically where engine noise and exhaust noise is pumped into the cab. Maybe it's because I am a full-blown chav, but I'm not offended by it. I don't care if it's generated. It makes me feel like I'm Sebastian Vettel, so who cares? Love the auto rev matching. So with the styling on this car, for me it looks like a hot hatch. I mean, it looks as a hot hatch should look. When there's no cars around it and you haven't got your next door neighbour's granny coming round thinking, what the bloody hell's that thing? And it can be a bit garish. It looks a little bit, dare we say, sort of Mark VI Golf GTI. Oh, I mean, it's just, it's scary. It's scary is what it is. I mean, if we compare it directly to a Golf GTI Performance, I mean, the mod cons that you get in this are like something that you'd get in a car quite literally for twice the price. I mean, it's got absolutely everything. You know, it's even got a rear camera when you go to reverse. That's usually about £16,000 as an extra on most cars. It's just there. It plays you a little song when you get in, which is lovely. It might become a bit grating, but we'll play it now for you. It's funny, isn't it? Oh, love that. Oh, it had a little pop there. You can't hear that unless you've got the windows down, which is a shame. That's really nice. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's like being a kid. It does it a lot. It does it a lot. As a bit of an overview, I think it's like the car that you want when you're 18 years old that you know you can't have. Would I buy one? Yeah, I think I would buy one. I mean, I'd have to get a back brace because my back's knackered. I've been in it 3-4 hours. I mean, I am sat bolt upright I'm in a very much a driving position here, but it's not comfortable. Don't buy this car if you want comfort. But if you want an enthralling driving experience, one that you've got to, one that you never quite know where, you're not going to learn it. You know, it'll take you a while to master this car if you're not a pro. That's the kind of car you want then. Yeah, this is where you want to be. And the neighbours will certainly hear you coming. That noise! It's ridiculous.